and their leading rebounder, averaging about 5.8 boards per game, will not play in this game tonight. He is in the concussion protocol, so no Ryan Swan for the Air Force Academy, which is a big blow for that team. Let's pause 10 seconds for local stations to identify themselves. This is Aggie Basketball on the Aggie Sports Network from Learfield. When we come back, we'll get you at Utah State's starting lineup, and we'll tip this thing off. You're listening to Utah State Hoops on the Aggie Sports Network from Learfield. A Spectrum here in Logan, Utah State and the Air Force Academy. Normally Lance Beckert, kind enough to join us on these home games. He's away on business, unable to join us for tonight's game. We'll hold down the fort here in the Spectrum in what should be a fun one as the Aggies look for their 11th win of the season and their first win in Mountain West Conference play after a disappointing loss against Nevada. Aggies introducing their starting lineup as we speak. You've got Crew Ainge getting the start, as well as Sam Merrill, Quinn Taylor, Brock Miller, and Nemish Keta. Those are your starters for Utah State. We're ready to get this thing going as the Aggies get set for what should be a fun one tonight against the Academy. Utah State coming in, averaging 80 points per game, as opposed to Air Force, who's averaging 67.7. Aggies doing well on the boards, as opposed to Air Force, who's averaging just 33 rebounds a game. Aggies over 40 boards a game. Should be a key stretch in this game. Aggies on the glass should dominate against this Air Force team, which also, by the way, surprisingly turns it over quite a bit. Uncharacteristic of most Air Force teams, which usually are a little bit more protective of the ball, but this is a team that's struggled turning the ball over so far on the season. Going to midcourt to tip this thing off, Lavelle Scotty, leading scorer on this team, averaging 12.6 against Nemias Keta. Ball is controlled by Utah State, and the Aggies moving right to left across your dial with Crew Ainge running the point. Sam Merrill on the left wing to Quinn Taylor, back up top to Ainge, looking for Keta wide open in the low block, and he lays it in, and Utah State with their first points in this one. Quickly down the court, A.J. Walker crossing the timeline, picked up there by Ainge. Swings over on the elbow to Van Solen. Van Solen work it back up top to Walker. Walker being guarded by Ainge, tries to drive on the left low block, kicks it out, and Lavelle Scotty thinks about a three, instead steps back, takes a long jumper, it's missed, and to corral the rebound is Sam Merrill coming up with the board. Sam Merrill to Brock Miller on the left baseline. Keta wide open again, low block, has the ball ripped out of his hands and controlled by Van Solen. Brought the ball down. If our guy Lance Beckert was here right now, he'd talk about bringing that ball down in the block. Can't do it if you're a big man. Trying to post up down low to Lavelle Scotty, leading scorer on this team. Up against Quinn Taylor, spins left, spins right, has to spin out of it. Bad pass, stolen away by Sam Merrill. Sam driving, swings it all the way over. Wide open, Crew Ainge for three, won't go. Quinn Taylor tries to bat it to himself, but Air Force comes away with the rebound. 2-0, Utah State out of the gate with 18:45 left to go here in the first half. Chris Joyce, number 5, over to Van Solen, back to Joyce. Joyce on the left wing outside the three-point line. 15 seconds left on the shot clock. Air Force will milk a lot of clock off of every possession. Tomes with the ball, driving, swings it back to Joyce. Joyce on the left wing, tries to drive on Brock Miller, puts a shot off the glass, won't go. Tipped around, and Keta pulls down the board. One and done for Air Force, although they used all 30 seconds of that shot clock. Sam Merrill on the right wing, over to Keta. Keta thinks about a three, instead will drive, and he travels with it. Picked up the pivot foot and got hit with the travel. 2-0, first turnover for Utah State. 18-13 left to go here in the first half as the Aggies out to an early lead. Crossing the timeline is A.J. Walker. Walker swings it over to Tomes. Tomes hands back to Joyce, who will take a long three and miss everything but the side of the backboard. Crew Ainge pulls down the board. Ainge on the left wing, back up top to Keta. Keta to Brock Miller. Miller thinks about the three, will rise, will fire, and bury the three. Brock Miller gives the Aggies a 5-0 lead. Don't look now, Brock Miller starting to find his shot. 5-0, Aggies up early, 17:40 left to go first half. Chris Joyce of the Academy up top to Van Solen on the right elbow. Solen picks up the dribble, has to get rid of it, works it back over to Tomes. Tomes steps back, Tries to cross over Sam Merrill. Hands over to A.J. Walker. Walker driving the paint. Off the glass. Missed. Brock Miller at the rebound. Aggies want to run. Air Force quickly back in transition, though. Miller is fouled. Trying to pick up and slide the pass over to Quinn Taylor. He will draw the foul. That'll be the first on the Academy. Aggies lead 5-0 with 17:20 left to go here in the first half. Quinn Taylor inbounds to Ainge. Ainge near the midcourt stripe, setting up the offense. 20 seconds left on the shot clock. Quinn Taylor on the right wing has the ball ripped out of his hands from behind by Walker. Walker attacking the rim, lays it up and gets it to go. Walker came from behind to Quinn Taylor as Taylor had the ball up above his head, slapped it out of his hands, gets the turnover and gets a layup, and those are the first points for the Academy. Utah State leads 5-2. Taylor on the left wing, posting up Ketta. Ketta trying to work on LaBelle Scotty. Cross court to Ainge. Ainge has the ball knocked out of his hands, but Quinn Taylor comes back and gets it. Merrill takes the long shot, missed. Ketta bats it around. It'll go out of bounds and will go with Utah State. Two officials had a look at each other as to where they were going to go with that, and they give the ball back to the Aggies. Good student section tonight, and a good crowd overall for the students. Don't go back to school until, well, I guess they're back in town. They'll start up on Monday. Sam Merrill draws the foul. That's going to go against number 3, Sid Tomes. That'll pick up another foul, and I believe that will be the second team foul for the Academy. Utah State leads 5-2. Crowd starting to fill in here in the Spectrum. Inbound to Ketta on the left elbow. Back to Ainge. Ainge swings it over to Sam Merrill, who wants to drive base, but they're going to get Merrill with the travel. Started the drive, shuffled the feet, and Aggies give it right back to Air Force. 5-2 our score. Utah State leading with a bucket from Ketta and a three-point shot from Brock Miller. Sid Tomes works over to Van Solen on the left wing. Back to Tomes. Tomes over to Joyce on the right wing for Air Force. And another foul. They're going to go offensive. Legal screen. Sid Tomes picks up the foul. 16:20 left to go. First half action. 5-2 our score, with Utah State leading Air Force. Quinn Taylor will inbound to Crew Ainge. Into the game comes number 0. The Air Force Academy's on scholarship. Down low, paint-to-paint pass into the lane. Goes Neemias Ketta, and he lays it up and in. He's got 4 on the night. 7-2 our score. Into the lane. LaBelle Scotty off the glass. Kiss off the glass. Gets a layup to go. 7-4. LaBelle Scotty averaging 12.6 points per game. Leading scorer for this team. Baseline drive. Quinn Taylor cut off. Back to Merrill. Merrill thinks about a 3. Instead drives off the glass. Can't get it to go, but he does draw the foul, and that brings us to our under 16 timeout. Utah State leads 7-4 over the Air Force Academy. You're listening to Aggie Basketball on the Aggie Sports Network from Learfield. Seeing score brewing in Albuquerque, New Mexico has a 38-28 lead over number 6 Nevada. I got to imagine the pit's rocking right now. New Mexico actually led by 12 at the break. They just barely started the second half. So Nevada, and it wouldn't surprise me, Nevada's gone stretches where they actually look a little bored at times. And you could see them really ramping things up and coming back and trying to establish themselves in that second half. But right now, New Mexico trying to pull the big upset and get the victory over Nevada. Remember, New Mexico only beat this Academy team by 6 the other night in Albuquerque. They had a 15-point lead. New Mexico cut it to 2 with about a minute left, but just couldn't get over the hump. USU Credit Union is a proud sponsor of Aggie Athletics and are proud to sponsor tonight's game. Utah State shooting 60% from the field, 33% for Air Force. Sam Merrill's going to the free throw line. First free throw rattles in. Sam Merrill is on the precipice of a really special season. Right now he's part of the 50-40-90 club. Here's the second free throw. That is up and good as well, where he's shooting over 50% from the field, 40% from 3, and 90% from the free throw line. Only 2 other players in Division I college basketball history have done that, as well as averaging 19 points a game, which is where Sam is at right now. Both of them are Mountain West teams. One of them's here in Utah State. That is J.C. Carroll is 1. By the way, ball goes out of bounds. Utah State says it's off of Air Force, and they're going to give it back to Utah State. So only 2 players have done it. Luke Babbitt of Nevada back in the day and J.C. Carroll are the only 2 players to average 19 points a game and part of the 50-40-90 club. Sam Merrill, if the season ended today, would be part of that club, as he averages about 19.7 points per game. Swing pass all the way over to Diogo Brito, to Merrill. Merrill to Abel Porter. Abel off the glass, and they're going to get the offensive foul as Porter cleared space with himself at the elbow. 9-4 our score. Utah State leading by 5. 15:08 left to go here in the first half. Bring the ball down the court. Number 10, A.J. Walker, who averages about 6 points a game. Swinging around the horn. Walker holding. Picked up by Abel Porter. Porter waiting for somebody to clear. Finally steps back, tries to drive right. Now tries to drive left. Cut off there. Over to number 22, Purvis Louder, who's into the game. Jump step. Can't find anything, so he works it to Lavelle Scotty on the right wing. 2 seconds left on the shot clock. A three-point shot by Lavelle Scotty is up, and it is down. 9-6, three-point lead for Utah State with 14:30 left to go here in the first half. Dwayne Brown tries to drive left. Shot off the glass. Will go. Looked like he came in hot, and it fell off the rim, but friendly roll for Dwayne Brown. Gets it to go, and the Aggies break double digits. 11-6 with 14:15 left to go. Lavelle Scotty tries to dunk. Is blocked at the rim by Neemias Queta, and they're going to call him for a foul. Oh, Queta should have had a foul, or should have had a block shot. Everybody's saying, look at the rim. May have gotten him with the body, but got all ball. Neemias Queta meeting Lavelle Scotty at the rim. Looked like he came away with a clean block, but they're going to give him the foul, and Scotty's going to step to the free throw line. First free throw for Scotty, missed. Lavelle Scotty, of all the things he does well, free throw shooting is not one of them. Only a 55% free throw shooter. Go figure. Here comes free throw number 2. Aggies lead 11-7 with 14:13 left to go. Second free throw rattles in. All right, that's about right. He's a 1-for-2 free throw shooter. Dwayne Brown inbounding to Abel Porter. Porter working it to Brito. Brito cross court to Brown on the right side. Up top, center circle to Porter. Abel Porter starting the offense, gets a screen from Brown. Back to Brown, trying to get it to Queta. Instead, work it to the Brito. Brito back up top to Brown. Brown works to the right side of the court, hands over to Border. 8 seconds left on the shot clock. Back to Brown. Brown drives, gets in, tied up, and they're going to call a foul. Nope, they're going to call a jump ball, and it'll go back to Air Force. Officials now talking at midcourt, trying to figure this one out. And nope, they're going to call the foul. That'll go against Amika Akaya for Air Force, draws the foul. As one official said it was a jump ball, the other one said that it was a foul. Official that said it was a foul gets the call. Dwayne Brown set to inbound on that near side. .48 left to go here in the first half. 11-8 our score. Utah State leading by 3. Abel Porter works to the middle of the court. 15 seconds left on the shot clock. Neemias Queta hands over to Sam Merrill. Merrill drives, right-hand layup. Got it to go, and he's fouled. He'll go to the free throw line. Sam Merrill setting up to have a good day today. That's his 6th point and potential 7th coming from the free throw line. 13-8, 5-point lead for Utah State. Merrill stepping up to the free throw line for the old-fashioned three-point play. Free throw is up, free throw is down. And Sam Merrill and Utah State starting to roll in this one. 13:35 left to go. Largest lead for the Aggies was 6. Aggies have made all 3 of their last field goal attempts. Purvis Louder, back up top to Walker. Walker on the right wing, over to Louder. Louder thinks about a 3, pump fakes, then drives in the lane. Right-hand scoop shot, got it to go. Nice pump fake and drive by Purvis Louder. His first points of the game. 14-10, 4-point lead for Utah State. 13 minutes left to go. Justin Bean set to check in. Diogo Brito takes a long 3, misses it, but Porter's there. Hands over to Merrill for 3, got it. Sam Merrill bearing the 3. Points over to Neemias Queta, says thanks for the assist, and the Aggies lead by 7 off the offensive rebound. Lavelle Scotty wants to drive into the lane and blocked away by Queta. Ball's on the court. finally controlled by Merrill. Merrill loses the handle. Finally fight for and they're going to call a foul down low. Are they going to get Ketta? They might. Yep, Neemias Ketta on the loose ball as Merrill dove. Merrill's holding his right wrist as he drove on the ground, trying to keep that ball alive. And finally, they're going to get Ketta with a foul. That's his second, so he's going to have to take a breather. Ketta's got 4 points, 2 assists, and 2 blocked shots in this game, as well as 2 rebounds. Caleb Morris waiting to inbound. So we mentioned Justin Bean getting early minutes in this game. Good for him. He's earned them. Aggies lead 17-10, 7-point lead, their largest. Caleb Morris tries to drive baseline, cut off. So he works it back up top to Louder. Louder over to Walker. Walker to Van Solen, who just checked back in. Back to Louder. Louder wants to drive, loses the handle, and they're going to call another foul down low. And they're going to go Diogo Brito gets hit with a foul. That's the 14th foul for Utah State, 16th foul already for Air Force. So we may be shooting some free throws in this first half. Drive into the lane. Louder can't find anybody, so he tries to dish it off to Van Solen. It's stolen away. Down to Bean. Bean right-hand layup won't go. Quinn Taylor tries for the up and under. It won't go. Fans want a goaltend. Instead, Quinn Taylor attempting another shot at the rim, and there he gets that one to go. 19-10, 9-point lead for the Aggies. Aggies dominating the boards early on. That is the 4th offensive rebound for the Aggies. A.J. Walker works it back up top around the horn. Morris over to Louder. Louder on the left wing. Back up top to Walker. Walker works back to the middle of the court. Back to Morris. Morris, long three. Back iron, won't go. Justin Bean pulls down the board. Bounce passes over to Abel Porter on the left wing. Porter, crossover. Pulls up his dribble. Hands over to Brito. Brito drives base. Brito, shot. Won't go. Draws the foul. He'll go to the free throw line. 11:30 left to go in the first half. Aggies lead by 9. We'll have free throws coming when we come back on the Aggie Sports Network from Learfield. Correction on the foul. They get Utah State with an offensive foul, so Brito gets up that foul. Utah State leading 19-10. The ball will go back to Air Force as Brito picks up his second foul. That's the 15th foul for Utah State. 6 for Air Force. Aggies lead by 9. The Academy will have the ball when we come back. Taking a look at the scoreboard around the Mountain West Conference, New Mexico leading Nevada 46-33. Later on tonight, San Diego State will take on Boise State. That game in Boise. Also, Colorado State will take on Fresno State. Fresno, the next opponent for Utah State. That game will be here in Logan coming up next Wednesday. And then Wyoming will square off against UNLV. So the Academy set to inbound. Amika Akaya will inbound underneath the bucket and will hand over to Sid Tomes. Tomes works past the midcourt stripe, back to Akaya. Akaya over to Morris on the right wing. Picked up there by Ainge. Over to Van Solen. Van Solen tries to spin in the low block, has to kick it back up top to Morris. Morris hands over to Tomes. Tomes back up top to Louder. Louder tries to drive on Miller and forces it back to Morris. Morris attacks with the right hand, off the glass on the drive, gets it to go, lays it up and in, and the lead is back to 7, 19-12. Air Force still putting up a fight here inbound. Tomes quickly down the court. Picked up by Merrill. Back up top to Akaya. Over to Louder, number 22. Air Force patient offensively. They'll work as much time as they need to on that shot clock. Tomes to Akaya. Long three. It's up. Back iron. And the rebound pulled down by Brock Miller. Lead still stands at 7, 19-12. Utah State, their largest lead in this game has been 9. Crew Ainge on the right wing to Merrill. Merrill over to Justin Bean. Bean to Ainge. Baseline three is up and missed everything. Goes out of bounds and will go to stay with Utah State. This is a win off a Academy player in the low block. Coming into the game comes number 12, Lavelle Scotty, who's averaging about 30 minutes a game. When he's on the bench, he's not on there long. Inbound to Merrill on the right side. 15 seconds left on the shot clock. Merrill tries to work around opponent, has his shot blocked, picks up his own rebound. Ball is still on the ground. Bean tries to put it up and in. That's missed. And here comes Air Force going the other way. Huge collision at the free throw line. Ainge is down. Quinn Taylor is down. Purvis Louder is down, and they're going to call the foul against Utah State. That's a 16 foul. Both teams with 16 fouls, and Air Force still trailing in this game 19-12. Chris Joyce checks in for Air Force. Caleb Morris checks out. So we're midway through the first half, and the next foul is going to be free throws for either team. Inbound deflected away by Justin Bean, stays with Air Force. Justin Bean's just everywhere. He's a spark plug. That's why Craig Smith just can't keep him off the court. Tremendous player, has really developed nicely for Utah State throughout the first half of the season. Air Force inbounds. Joyce on the left wing, back up top to Louder, nearly loses the handle. Hands back over to LaBelle Scotty, who gives it right back to Louder. Louder spins, shoots from the free throw line, buries it. Purvis Louder, who only averages about 5.7 points per game, already has 4 points in this one. Crew Ainge, as the Aggies have their 9-point lead, now cut to 5. Quinn Taylor on the right wing. Over to Ainge. Ainge waiting for a curling Sam Merrill. Merrill then works back to Taylor for 3. Got it. Beautiful set by Utah State. Defense collapsed on Merrill. Kicked over to Quinn Taylor. Buries the 3. And the Aggies push the lead back to 8. 22-14. Quinn Taylor's first points of the night. Chris Joyce to LaBelle Scotty. Back to Joyce. Joyce trying to drive, held up by Ainge, and Ainge is going to pick up the foul, and that'll send Joyce to the free throw line for a 1-and-1. Abel Porter's going to check in. Crew Ainge is going to have a seat. And so now Joyce steps up to the free throw line. Joyce, for a team that does not shoot free throws well, Joyce is one of the exceptions, a 76% free throw shooter. First free throw is up and good. That'll earn him free throw number 2. 22-15, 7-point game for the Aggies with 9:16 left to go here in the first half. Joyce's second free throw is up and good. Joyce got the start tonight, only the 3rd time this year that he started a game. So it actually marked the 8th different starting lineup that Air Force has had this year. Here comes the trap, and the ball nearly turned over. Justin Bean saves it to Brock Miller, who takes the 3. It's a little long. Bean's there for the rebound, dribbles out of the low block to Merrill. Great job by Justin Bean on a couple different levels on that game, saving a loose ball and getting an offensive rebound. Sam Merrill back up top to Taylor. Taylor tries to find a cutting Merrill, can't get it, so Merrill comes around on a curl and will draw a foul and send Sam to the free throw line for a 1-and-1. Sam stopped his dribble, and Purvis Louder came over the top of him and couldn't help but not foul him. So Merrill's going to step up to the free throw line for a chance to get to double figures. He's already got 8 points on the night. He'll be shooting the 1-and-1. Quinn Taylor checks out. Dwayne Brown checks in. 6-point lead for the Aggies with Sam Merrill shooting a 1-and-1. Here comes Merrill's first free throw. Got it. He'll have one more. Brock Miller, Abel Porter, Sam Merrill, Dwayne Brown, and Justin Bean are your 5 Aggies out on the court right now. Second free throw for Merrill, up and good. He's got 10 points on the night, leads all scorers. Next highest Aggie is Quinn Taylor, who's got 5. Chris Joyce on the left wing, over to Van Solen, who's back in the game. Over to Walker. Walker tries to drive baseline, cut off. Instead, a long 3 is shot by Joyce, missed, and here comes Utah State. Sam Merrill trying to push the action, working to the right side. Swings it over to Abel Porter, who drives base, tries to kick it over to a cutting Justin Bean, goes off an Air Force player, out of bounds, will stay with Utah State. 24-16, 8-point lead for Utah State, 8:24 left to go here in the first half. Abel Porter set to inbound. Porter inbounds to Bean, who's had significant minutes here. A cutting Merrill, back over to Brown. Brown wide open, right wing 3, nestles home at the bottom of the net. What can Brown do for you? How about giving you their largest lead of the first half, 11 points, 27-16. Aggies up. Morris drives. Abel Porter gets his hand in the cookie jar, and they're going to call a foul. It's actually going to go, I believe, against Brock Miller. Brock Miller did not get his verticality. And Miller is going to send Caleb Morris to the free throw line. By the way, Craig Smith is really giving it to the officials in this game. We might see a technical before it's all said and done. Here comes Morris, free throw. Up and rattles in. He'll have another. Morris, another decent free throw shooter. Only a couple players for Air Force shooting in the 70s on the free throw line. Morris is one of them. He'll have one more. Brito checks in. Quinn Taylor checks in. Sam Merrill and Justin Bean are going to have a breather. Justin Bean gets a nice applause from the crowd. Deservedly so. He's busted his rear end tonight. Aggies lead back to 10, or cut to 10. Morris has got one more free throw. Free throw's up and good. Morris had 13 points against Utah State in that win at Clune Arena last year against the Aggies. 27-18. Here comes the full court press. Dwayne Brown, Brito. Brito works over to Miller. Miller has it go off his hands, out of bounds on the cross-court pass, and the ball is turned back over to Air Force. 27-18, 9-point game for the Aggies. 7:52 left to go here in the first half. You're listening to Aggie Basketball on the Aggie Sports Network from Learfield. Currently lead by 9 over the Air Force Academy, 27-18. Hey, go all out when you go RVing. Make plans to see the Aggies outscore, outshoot, and outplay at every game this season. More information is available at GoRVing.com. All right, 7:52 left to go here in the first half. Utah State, again, leading by 9. As we mentioned, they led by as many as 11. Sam Merrill with 10 points, leading all scorers. Leading scorer for Air Force is LaBelle Scotty, who's got 6. Aggies have 2 other players with 5 points each, Dwayne Brown as well as Quinn Taylor. Aggies shooting 53% from the field. Air Force not a bad 43% on the night. Aggies also shooting 44% from 3. Once again, total rebounds. Aggies out rebounding Air Force 13-3, including 6-1 on the offensive rebounding front. By the way, quick update from Albuquerque. New Mexico still holding on to that double-digit lead over Nevada, 50-39. Midway through the second half. Van Solen on the right wing. Back over to A.J. Walker. Back to Van Solen. Takes the 3, buries the 3, and cuts the Aggie lead to 6, 27-21. Air Force can shoot the 3. It's one of the staples of the academy this year, or throughout their course of basketball. Dwayne Brown to Abel Porter. Back to Diogo. Diogo on the left wing. Up top to Taylor. Taylor's got an open lane. Instead, kicks out of it, and they're going to call Quinn Taylor for the offensive foul as he crashed into the lane before passing out. And for Quinn Taylor, he picks up another foul. That will be his second, and it's a 6-point lead. Falcons just hanging around. A.J. Walker crossing the timeline. Aggies have led by 11. Currently lead by 6, 27-21. Underneath the bucket, nice layup. A.J. Walker used the rim as a defender to avoid the block shot, lays it up, and cuts the lead to 4, 27-23. Ball nearly stolen away, goes out of bounds, and they're going to say the ball stays with Utah State. Neemias Queta, Sam Merrill set to check into the game. So Queta comes in for Quinn Taylor. Sam Merrill checks in for Diogo Brito. Inbound to Merrill in the left wing. 6:48 left to go in the first half. 18 seconds on the shot clock. Aggies lead 27-23. Led by 11. 9-2 run here by Air Force. Queta attacking the rim, attacking the drive. Contact. He'll go to the free throw line. Big man took a nasty fall, but he'll earn himself a couple free throws. That'll be the 18th foul for the academy. And Queta is going to step up to the free throw line. Here comes free throw number 1. He's got 2 free throws. Queta hovering in that mid to upper 60 free throw shooting percentage. Hits the first one. He'll have one more. For Queta, that's his 5th point. Has a chance to get to. And they're going to call lane violation against Dwayne Brown. He missed it anyway, but the ball is going to go to Air Force. So 28-23, 5-point lead for Utah State with 6:38 left to go in the first half, and a very, I tell you what, very determined Air Force team. It's got a little momentum, brings the ball down the court. Caleb Morris trying to get it to Scotty. Ball tipped out of his hands, controlled though by Joyce. Joyce now trying to work it to Scotty on the left wing, guarded by Brock Miller. Hands back to Joyce. Joyce thinks about a three, drives baseline, works it all the way over to Van Solen for a right wing three, no good, and Ketta rips down the rebound. Brock Miller was there as well, but Ketta's like, all the rebounds belong to me. Sam Merrill on the right wing, driving, swings it all the way over for a baseline three, and rattles out for Brock Miller. Had a good look, just wouldn't fall. 5:57 left to go, first half. Aggies lead 28-23. Into the lane is Morris. Morris has the ball blocked, and Sam Merrill comes away with it. Merrill setting up his offense with 5:40 left to go, and the Aggies up by 5. Merrill to Miller. Miller for three. Baseline. Rattles that one home. Used every bit of the rim, but finally got it to fall, and the lead goes back to 8. Aggies on a 4-0 run, leading 31-23. 5:25 and counting left to go here in the first half. Caleb Morris to Van Solen. Solen on the left wing. Works over to Tomes. Tomes to Scotty. Scotty spins around. Jumper, air ball. Missed everything. And here comes Sam Merrill on the board, crossing the timeline. Merrill puts his foot on the gas, looking to drive baseline. Cut off. Back over to Brown. Brown for three. Brown buries the three. And the Aggies on a 7-0 run have their largest lead of 11, 34-23. Coach's timeout. We'll take it as well on the Aggie Sports Network from Learfield. Point line, 11 of 20 overall, 50% from the field. Utah State leading 34-23, matching their largest lead of 11 with 4:50 left to go in the first half against the Air Force Academy. Van Solen of Air Force over to Tomes. Tomes has to pick up his dribble, so he works it back to Morris. Over to LaBelle Scotty. And again, Air Force very capable and very consistent and deliberate offensively. Morris now on the left wing. 5 seconds, 4 seconds. Trying to drive against Brock Miller. Has to swing it up to Scotty. Straightaway three at the buzzer. Missed. And Merrill pulls down the rebound. One thing Utah State's done a really good job getting defensive rebounding. One and done all night long for Air Force. Brock Miller had Ketta, couldn't get it to him. Goes cross court to Bean. Bean on the right baseline. Over to Abel Porter on the right wing. Merrill works it back to Miller. Miller to Ketta. Ketta has a good look at the rim and can't finish before he draws the foul. He'll get himself a couple of free throws. He's going to finish that more often than not. Ketta on the night has got 5 points, trying to add to that total. Sam Merrill still at 10 for Utah State. Aggies lead by 11. By the way, Brock Miller continues to shoot the ball better. He's got 6 points on the night. Ketta lining up a couple free throws. He was 1 for 2 on his first trip. First free throw is off the front of the iron. No good. Good crowd has really filled in here at the Spectrum. Students rolling back into town after the holiday break. They'll start school back up on Monday. 4:08 left to go here in the first half. Ketta has a chance to go 1 for 2 on this trip. And does so. Buries the free throw. And he'll check out. Quinn Taylor's going to check back in. So LaBelle Scotty, Aggie showing a little bit of press, and Abel Porter bracks out of it. A.J. Walker works the ball down the court, looking for Van Solen. Instead, works it back up top to Scotty outside the three-point line straight away. Over back to Walker on the right wing. Van Solen swings it all the way across to Louder. Louder tries to spin. Back to Van Solen. Pump fakes the three. Drives against Taylor. Over to Morris for three. Missed. And the rebound pulled down by Justin Bean. Bean running the point. Over to Merrill. Miller for three. No good. Fight for the rebound. Tipped around and controlled by Sam Merrill in the backcourt. Great job by Sam tracking that ball down. Underneath the Bean. Bean at the rim. Lays it up and in. Bean wants a foul. They won't give it to him. But the Aggies now lead by 14, 37-23. Purvis Louder. Back over to Walker. Walker on the left wing. Walker on the left elbow. To Scotty, to back to Van Solen. Solen back to Scotty. Scotty for three. No good. And the rebound pulled down by Justin Bean. Bean to Sam Merrill. Aggies smelling blood in the water right now. Abel Porter driving. Shot off the glass. Lays it up and in with the right hand. And the Aggies on a 12-0 run. Lead 39-23. Jump ball tied up at the rim. And what a play by Quinn Taylor and Justin Bean. And just like that, the Aggies will get the ball back. You're listening to Aggie basketball. Alternating possession goes back to Utah State. 39-23, 16-point lead for the Aggies on the Aggie Sports Network from Learfield. Over the last 3:49, the Aggies are on a 12-0 run after Air Force cut the lead down to 4 at 27-23. The Aggies have reeled off 12 in a row. They lead now 39-23, certainly their largest lead of 16 here in the first half. USU Credit Union, proud to be a sponsor of Aggie Athletics and proud to sponsor tonight's game. As we mentioned, always a lot of fun at the Craig Smith Coaches Show. Next one will be on Monday, January 7th, 6 o'clock, live from Cafe Sabor, 600 West Center Street in Logan. Craig Smith, along with a student athlete, will be on the show each week. You'll be able to interact and ask questions and also win some prizes, too. Don't forget about the Utah State giveaways. It's the Craig Smith Coaches Show at Cafe Sabor in Logan, coming up January 7th at 6 o'clock. Aggie ball stays with Air Force on the alternating possession. And a foul is going to go against Utah State off the inbound. Brock Miller gets hit with a foul. Holding up number 22, Purvis Louder. And so Louder's got himself, Utah State, that's a 19 foul. That's a 1-and-1. So Louder's got, who is a 73% free throw shooter. Here comes free throw number 1. Is up and good. That earns him one more. Here comes free throw number 2. And it comes out. Justin Bean pulls down the rebound. 1 for 2 on that trip. Aggie lead is 15, 39-24. Sam Merrill works it to the right side. Swings it all the way over to Abel Porter. Porter on the left wing to Miller. Back to Merrill on the right wing to Justin Bean. Bean to Quinn Taylor. Taylor working around the horn. And they're going to call a foul against the Academy. That goes against Purvis Louder. On a foul away from the ball. But we'll still send Utah State and the Aggies now in the double bonus. So Merrill's got himself a couple free throws. He's got 10 points on the night. First free throw is good. Sam with 11 points will look for number 12 here at the free throw line. Aggies push the lead back to their largest of 16 with 2.5 minutes left to go in the first half, and he knocks it down. So the lead is now 17, 41-24 with 2:27 left to go in the first half. Chris Joyce over to Van Solen. Solen back to Joyce. He'll try to drive on the left wing. Shot is blocked by Justin Bean, who blocked it with both hands, loses the handle trying to dribble down the court, and turns it back over to Air Force. A.J. Walker. Walker puts a shot up, but he's fouled before the shot, although he'll still get 2 free throws. Foul's going to go against number Brock Miller. I think that might be, that's Miller's 3rd foul. So Dwayne Brown's going to have to check in. Brock Miller's going to have to take a breather, and probably you won't see him again for a bit. Miller with 6 points. Stepping up to the free throw line will be A.J. Walker, who quietly makes his first free throw. Could be, with both teams in the double bonus and a couple, some officials here with some itchy trigger fingers, we may have a long 2 minutes to end this first half. Second free throw is up, and that is good as well. 41-26, 15-point lead for the Aggies. 2:05, a little bit of press shown by the Academy. Aggies break it easily. Abel Porter to Justin Bean, who's played really well in the first half. Bean to Porter. Porter looks to drive, then kicks it over to Taylor for three, straight away, back iron, won't go, and the Aggies pull back. Van Solen pulls down the board, over to Walker. Walker has his pass cut off, goes out of bounds. A deflected Justin Bean knocks it out of bounds, and it'll stay with Air Force with 24 seconds on the shot clock. Chris Joyce set to inbound. Joyce looking for somebody to clear. Finally, works it on the left wing. Over to Van Solen. Van Solen, who's hit 1-3 from that range, decides against it. Works it back over to Akaya. Akaya dishes late to Van Solen. Solen loses the handle. Comes back, gets it, puts a shot up at the rim, and won't go. And Dwayne Brown pulls down the rebound. Brown quickly going the other way on the right wing. Driving, down low to Taylor. Taylor back up top to Merrill. Merrill looks over to Craig Smith and says, let's reset this offense here and get something going. 1:11 left to go in the first half. Sam Merrill with 15 seconds on the shot clock. To Abel Porter. Porter pump fakes the three, then shoots it and buries it. Usually when you double clutch like that, you're not going to knock it down, but Abel Porter is able to hit the three, and the Aggies lead by 18, 44-26. Joyce. Back to Morris on the right wing. Down low to Joyce. Joyce wide open, lays it up and in. That's the Air Force motion and that Princeton offense that gives teams all kinds of fits. Easy layup for Joyce with 38 seconds left to go in the first half, and the Aggies lead by 16, 44-28. About 11 seconds differential between the shot clock and the game clock. Sam Merrill with 15 seconds left on the shot clock. Holding. It's going to be picked up by Joyce, gets a screen from Taylor, works on the right side, loses the handle on the pass intended for Brown, goes out of bounds, and the Aggies turn it over. So Air Force will have 18 seconds left to put up a shot before we end the first half. It's a 16-point game, 44-28. Largest lead has been 18 for the Aggies. Remember last year they led by 15 at the half at Clune Arena, and Air Force came back and won it by 10. Into the lane, losing the handle, finally picked up, shot is up and short, and Justin Bean cracks down the rebound with 3 seconds left. Merrill, a halftime shot, missed barely off the back of the iron as Sam Merrill lined it up at the buzzer from half court and just couldn't get it to go. 44-28, it's a 16-point lead for the Aggies as Utah State used a late 12-0 run in the first half to take a 4-point lead and push it to 17. And then just held on from there. 44-28, 16 or so from getting the second half started. 44-28. A couple things to keep an eye on here in the second half. Now remember, Utah State led by 13 at Clune Arena at the half last year and ended up losing that game by 10. Outscored by 23 in the second half. Don't anticipate we're going to see something quite as drastic as that tonight. But one thing to keep an eye on certainly is foul trouble. As Brock Miller's got 3, Neemias Queta has got 2. They did a good job. He picked up that second one early on. They did a good job of managing him to avoid getting that third foul. So foul trouble has been an issue. And one thing about Air Force, they came into this game only averaging 11 free throw attempts a game. They had 11 in the first half, they had 10 in the first half. So they are picking up some fouls, and Utah State's turned the ball over too. And that's been an issue that Craig Smith has really been frustrated with his team, is their ability to hold on to the ball. They've already turned it over 12 times in the first half. That's a number that might be an acceptable number for a game, but they hit the 12 at the break. How many turnovers do they commit here in the second half is going to be key in this one, as well as obviously the ability to keep Air Force off the glass. Utah State doing a tremendous job in defensive rebounding. Only 1 offensive rebound for Air Force as opposed to 7 for Utah State. We're ready to get this second half started. Utah State leading by 16, 44-28. Aggies now flip the court, and we'll have the ball moving from left to right across your radio dial. Aggies with their all whites, their home uniform, whereas Air Force going with their road blues. Quinn Taylor inbounds to Crew Ainge as the Aggies go with their starting lineup, as does the Academy. Crew Ainge on the left wing, tries to get it to Ketta. Ball slapped out of bounds, though. Good job anticipating the pass by A.J. Walker, number 10. Quinn Taylor inbounding, 21 seconds still on the shot clock. Ainge gets the inbound, surveys the court. Back over to Merrill on the left wing. Merrill gets a screen from Ainge, works back to the middle, and reverses the ball back to Ainge. Trying to get it to Ketta, finally gets it to him on the bounce pass. No double team, still passes out of it to Brock Miller, who buries the three from the right wing. Good job by Ketta, seeing the open Miller, swinging across court, getting a long three-point shot attempt, and the Aggies with their largest lead of 19, 47-28. Sid Tomes, to Joyce. Joyce back over to Walker on the right wing. He wants to drive. Instead, works it to Van Solen, and he nestles home a three from the baseline. And they're going to call a quick timeout. And Neemias Ketta is going to come back over to the sidelines. Not a foul, but they're going to address something with his hand. Maybe a little blood. And they're going to take a quick look at it, see if they can. As soon as they see a little blood on the court, they stop play immediately. Get that magic spray on that young man. Clean that thing up. All right, Ainge with 19:05 left to go here in the ball game, and the Aggies lead by 16, 47-21. Sam Merrill on the left wing. Instead gives it to Taylor at the free throw line. Hands it back to Ainge. Ainge drives, puts his head down, puts the shot up, and gets the kiss off the glass on the layup. And the Aggies lead 49-31. Merrill with 14 points in the ball game. Toombs back over to Walker for three. Buries the three. Air Force 2 for 2 from beyond the three-point line in the early stages of this second half. 49-34, Aggies still maintaining a 16-point or a 15-point lead. Quinn Taylor outside the three-point line to Brock Miller. Brock on the three outside the right wing beyond the three-point line. Back over to Taylor, down low to Ainge. Ainge in the low block, tries to spin into a shot, but instead they're going to call a foul on Ainge, working the elbow and creating space. And for Ainge, that's his third foul. Crowd here in Logan not particularly pleased with it either. First team foul for the Aggies here in the first half. Air Force yet to commit a foul. Tomes to Van Solen. Back to Tomes. To Lavelle Scotty. Tries to drive base. Brown does a good job cutting him off. Back to Van Solen. Pump fakes. Works it over to Tomes. Tomes over to Scotty for three. And finally, Air Force misses a three-point shot attempt. Ainge to Merrill. Aggies lead by 15, 49-34. Merrill over to Brock Miller. Miller loses the handle, has to come down and pick it up, or else he would have been able to shoot a three in stride. Back to Merrill. Merrill to Miller for three, long, and to come down and pull down with the rebound is A.J. Walker. Walker on the left wing, quickly down the court for Air Force. Air Force a little bit more urgency on their offensive sets than what we saw in the first half. Van Solen hands over to Tomes. Tomes trying to drive, cut off, back to Van Solen, wide open three, got it. You could not leave him wide open like that. And now the lead is down to 12. Aggies' largest lead has been 19. It's now down to 12 as Air Force 3 of 4 shooting threes here in the second half. 49-37, 17-10 left to go in the first half. Sam Merrill on the right wing gets a screen from Dwayne Brown. Hands over to Taylor, back to Ainge. Ainge to the middle of the court, all the way over to Brock Miller on the baseline, to Merrill, over to Ainge. Aggies doing a good job reversing the ball around the court. Haven't quite got anything going. Brown to Miller. Miller for three. Got it. Brock Miller, his second three here in the second half and his fourth of the game. And the Aggies back up by 15, 52-37. 16:44 left to go here in the first half, or in the second half. Tomes to Van Solen, who's got a couple threes here in this second half. Back over to Sid Tomes on the right wing. Over to Joyce. Joyce thinks about a three. Miller's got a hand in his face, so he works it back to Tomes. Tomes drives, swings it all the way over to Scotty for three, and he buries the three. And the threes continue to fall for Air Force here in this second half. Ainge crossing the timeline to Brock Miller. Miller with Joyce right in his face. Works back to the middle of the court. Everything Utah State outside the three-point line on this offensive set. Ainge attacks the rim, loses the handle, ball goes off his hands, goes down and is fouled as he came down reaching for the basketball. That'll be Air Force first team foul, and that brings us to our under 16 timeout. Aggies led by as many as 19, now lead by 12, 52-40, 15:59 left to go here in the ballgame on the Aggie Sports Network from Learfield. Time to announce your American First Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week. Shannon Duffy named to that honor, and she may pick it up again. That's the second time this year, third time in her career against the 49ers, recorded her fifth double-double of the season with 14 points, 10 rebounds, while adding a career-high 6 steals to go along with 3 assists. American First Credit Union donates funds to help assist in student-athlete scholarships and is a proud sponsor of Utah State Athletics and the Student Athlete of the Week. Shannon Duffy leading Utah State today with a win against Air Force at Clune Arena. And they picked up a win earlier in the week as well when they got a W against Nevada. So Utah State already matching their win total from last year, off to an early start, 2-0 in Mountain West play. Utah State leads by 12, 52-40. Long inbound pass controlled by Brock Miller to Abel Porter. Crossover, Miller's got a good look, lays it up and in. Abel Porter with a crossover dribble, lane opened up, and he lays it up and in. 54-40, 14-point lead for the Aggies. Air Force is 4 of 5 shooting threes here in the second half. Drive into the lane. Van Solen has to come back and get it after a bad pass. Aggies want an offensive foul. Scotty takes a 3, misses a 3 from the baseline, and here comes Utah State going the other way. Sam Merrill gets into the lane, cut off, works it back to Quinn Taylor, then immediately gets it back to Merrill. Down to Taylor. Taylor wide open in the low blocks, lays it up and in. Good job by Sam Merrill. That's his 9th assist. 1 assist away from hitting at least a double-double, with a couple rebounds away from hitting a triple-double. Chris Joyce on the left wing to Van Solen, who thinks about a 3, instead gives it over to Tomes. Tomes back to Joyce. Joyce baseline to Scotty. Scotty now on the left wing. Waits for somebody to clear. Instead, keeps it himself. Spins into the lane. Loses the handle. Goes out of bounds. And will stay with the Air Force. 7 seconds left on the shot clock. 14:48 left to go in the game. And the Aggies lead 56-40. Largest lead in this game has been 19 for Utah State. Joyce trying to inbound. Finally gets it up top to Louder. Louder takes a long 3 and buries the 3. Holy smokes, it's all fallen for Air Force in this second half. They're now 5 of 7 shooting threes here in the second half. But the Aggies still lead by 13, 56-43. Ketta to Miller. Miller, a right wing 3. That's too long. Goes off the back of the iron, and Louder pulls down the rebound. Louder now on the left wing as Air Force just shooting it into the ocean. Van Solen for 3. Buries it from the top of the three-point line. And it's now a 10-point game, 56-46. Air Force is just hitting everything in sight. 10-point lead for Utah State. 14 minutes left to go. Merrill to Taylor to Ketta. Ketta, low block, lays it up and in. They have no answer for him. None whatsoever. Aggies push the lead back to 12, 58-46. Louder. Up top to Joyce. Joyce picked up by Miller to Van Solen, who's hit 3 threes here in the second half. To Tomes. Tomes thinks about a 3 to Joyce. Joyce pulls up. He'll drive. Tries to up and under underneath Ketta. Misses badly as Ketta looked to block that shot. And Joyce panicked. Had a bad shot. Quinn Taylor for 3. Quinn Taylor buries the 3 from the left wing. Aggies on a 5-0 run. Air Force wants a timeout. Coach's timeout, we'll take it as well. 61-46, 13:21 left to go here in the first half on the Aggie Sports Network from Learfield. It's 10 assists, now just 5 rebounds away from a triple-double. Utah State leads by 15, and fairly impressive considering the way that Air Force has been shooting the 3. They're now 6 of 8 shooting threes here in the second half. They're 6 of 10. All 6 of their field goals have come from beyond the three-point line here in the second half. But if you're Air Force, you got to be frustrated as well as you're shooting it. You all of a sudden look up and you realize that you've only really trimmed about 2 points off that lead, that halftime lead. So Utah State still leading by 15, 61-46 with 13:21 left to go here in the second half. For Sam Merrill, another double-double for him, but I think that's his largest assist total of the season. I don't think he's hit double digits in assists this year. And again, needs to pull down a few rebounds to try to get that triple-double. Quinn Taylor now in double figures with 10. And Brock Miller, who's hit a couple threes here in the second half, has now reached 12 points on all 4 of his field goals have been threes. So 61-46, 15-point lead for Utah State, looking for their 11th win overall in conference play. Larry H. Miller Dealerships, proud partner of Aggie Athletics. Air Force inbounding after the Aggies currently on a 5-0 run. Caleb Morris to Vance Solon, who's been hitting everything in sight here in the second half. Trying to get it to Scotty in the low block against Ketta. That's not going to work well for him. Turnaround jumper missed, and Ketta pulls down the rebound. Ball is knocked out of Ketta's hands, though. Controlled by Air Force. Van Solon takes the three. He'll miss it, but they're going to get the foul on Morris for crashing into the paint. Kind of a makeup call, as they probably should have called a foul on Morris for making contact with Ketta with the ball in his hands. Either way, ball goes back to Utah State. Aggies only been outscored by 1 here in the second half, despite Air Force shooting the lights out in the early stages. 61-46. Aggies lead by 15. Ketta outside the three-point line to a cutting Merrill. Merrill's held up in traffic, draws the foul. And he wants it on the shot. Officials, Sam saying it was on the shot. Craig Smith saying on the shot. The official saying, you're inbounding it. That's the third team foul for Air Force. A.J. Walker picks up the foul. He's going to check out. Into the game will come number 3, Sid Tomes. Inbounding to Merrill. Merrill on the left block. And he'll pick up another foul as Louder slapped at his hands. And that'll be team foul number 4 against Air Force. Abel Porter will inbound. Aggies get the shot clock reset to 20 with 12:44 left to go. I don't know if you can hear it coming over our crowd mic, but Craig Smith is getting the officials the business. Abel Porter into the lane, and they're going to get Porter with a travel. And the ball will go back to Air Force. Lavelle Scotty inbounds over to Tomes. Tomes crossing the timeline. Air Force trying to cut into the Aggie 15-point lead. Purvis Louder on the left wing to Van Solon over to Tomes. Tomes is still on the right wing. Gets it to Louder. Louder pulls up his dribble. Can't get a shot off, so he works it over to Tomes. A long three is knocked down by Sid Tomes. Now 7 of 9 three-point shooting for Air Force here in the second half, but still Utah State leading by 12, 61-49. Aggies have led by as many as 19 here in the second half. Neemias Ketta loses the handle on the dribble, turns it over, and the ball goes back to Air Force. Sid Tomes on the left wing. Over to Morris. Morris over to Van Solon. Solon to Louder. Louder trying to drive on Quinn Taylor. Goes left. Picks up his dribble. Works it to Scotty. Scotty for 3, buries it. And now another 3 knocked down, and it's a 9-point game, the closest Air Force has been here in the second half. As we mentioned, largest lead has been 19. It's now down to 9. As Air Force 8 of 10 shooting 3 here in the second half. Sam Merrill, push shot into the lane, rattles out, but what an athletic play by Neemias Ketta with his left hand, able to tip it back up and in. 63-52, 11-point game for the Aggies. Van Solon on the left elbow. Back up top to Scotty. Scotty drives on Ketta. Ketta deflects the shot, gets the rebound on the missed shot, goes to Abel Porter. Porter wants to drive. His shot off the glass, no good. Ketta is there and can't get the shot to go, but he draws the foul. Ketta with a monstrous putback opportunity. Won't go, but he'll go to the free throw line. Holy smokes, he flew into the lane. 11:02 left to go in the ball game. It's the Aggies up by 11. 63-52 on the Aggie Sports Network from Learfield. This isn't going quietly into the night. They're shooting 8 of 10 from 3 here in the first 9 minutes of the second half. All 8 of their made field goals have been for 3. They're shooting 8 of 14 from the field here in the second half, but 8 of 10 from 3 after a first half in which they were 2 of 10. So they're feeling it right now, but Utah State, for the most part, has kept them at bay. Still leading by double digits, 63-52, and Neemias Ketta has got some free throws coming up as the Aggies trying to hold on here in Logan. Quick Quack Car Wash now open in Providence. That's quicquackcarwash.com. don't drive dirty. All right, Utah State trying to get this thing done tonight and pick up their 11th win of the season. Neemias Queta, who's got 10 points on the night, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, as well as a couple block shots. Stepping up to the free throw line, where he is 2 for 3 on the night. First free throw missed. Missed it left. Kind of Scott Norwooded that thing. He'll have one more. Second free throw is good. So 1 for 2 on that trip. Aggies push the lead back to 12. 64-52. Aggies led by 16 at the break. Lead by 12 right now. Air Force has cut the lead down to 9. Lavelle Scotty on the left low block to Tomes. Over to Morris. Morris wants to drive, lose the handle, goes out of bounds, and will go to Utah State. Good job of the deflection on the low block. And Dwayne Brown set to inbound. Abel Porter into the game. Your Aggies out on the court right now. Porter, Brown, Queta, Merrill, and Brock Miller. Miller's got 12 points on the night. Abel Porter looking for Queta. Queta's got it. Here comes the late double team, so he kicks it back to Porter for 3. Won't go. Just a bit too long. Contact, no foul. As Queta hits the court. Lavelle Scotty on the left wing. Back over to Tomes. Tomes over to Louder. Louder on the right wing, trying to drive, cut off. Works it over to Lavelle Scotty to Van Solen. Van Solen on the right wing, ball deflected. Sid Tomes comes and gets it. Tomes over to Morris. Morris rises and fires for 3, missed. Haven't seen that happen very often. Only the third three-point miss in the second half by Air Force, who's now 8 of 11 shooting threes. Brock Miller rises and fires. His three's down. Brock Miller with his 5th made 3 of the game, and the Aggies lead by 15, 67-52. Lavelle Scotty to Louder. Louder pulls back, dribbles into the lane. Wide open Scotty, straightaway 3, won't go. Now you may see the 3 start to dry up a bit. No way you're going to continue to shoot 80% from 3. Sam Merrill over to Brock Miller. Brock Miller thought about a 3, caught up in the air, dishes back to Merrill, gets it to Dwayne Brown in the blocks. He is blocked on the shot. It's a jump ball, and the ball will go back to Air Force on alternating possessions. 15-point lead. Neemias Queta is going to take a breather. Quinn Taylor checks in. 9:21 left to go here in the ball game, and the Aggies lead by 15. Aggies currently on a 6-0 run. After leading only by 9, Aggies have reeled off 6 in a row. Sid Tomes on the left wing, over to Morris. Morris reverses the court, over to Louder. Louder back to Morris on the right wing. Posting up Scotty. Here comes a double team. Scotty passes out of it. Works it over to Louder. Louder thinks about a 3, then takes the 3 and misses it. Ball goes out of bounds, and they're going to keep it with Air Force as Abel Porter and Brock Miller crashed into each other. Porter's still down on the court. Gets a helping hand from Sam Merrill and Quinn Taylor. Still a little shaken up. Full shot clock now for Air Force with 8:59 left to go in the game. And the Aggies lead 67-52. Free throw jumper up and good by Lavelle Scotty, and that is the first field goal made by Air Force from 2 here in the second half. Everything else has been from 3. Aggies still lead by 13, 67-54. Getting it down low to Dwayne Brown on the baseline. Brown going to work, up and under, puts the shot up short, tipped around, controlled by Taylor to Miller. Miller for 3. Oh, looked like it was going to go, fell out, and Dwayne Brown gets his hand in the cookie jar, fighting for the rebound, and gives the foul to Air Force. Only the second team foul for Utah State. Air Force has racked up 5. Brown's checking out. Justin Bean is checking in. Aggies shooting 55% from the field. Air Force 41. Air Force now 10 of 23 shooting threes. The Aggies 11 of 23 shooting threes. Aggies lead by 13. Here comes Tomes crossing the timeline to Joyce. Joyce to Louder. Louder out top the three-point line. Van Solen pump fakes the 3, then drives against Quinn Taylor. Tries to get contact, puts the shot up and in, and gets the 5-foot jumper to go on the baseline. Good job by Van Solen. who's got 14 points on the night. Porter to Miller. Miller to Merrill. Merrill to Taylor on the blocks. Taylor working against Van Solen. Hook shot is up and in. Hung on the rim for about 3 bounces and finally drops. Great job by Quinn Taylor on the old hook shot. 69-56, 13-point lead for Utah State. 7:50 left to go in the game. Chris Joyce guarded nicely by Brock Miller through an elbow. Miller takes a step back, may have taken one on the nose a bit. Works over to Louder. Louder up and under, has the ball out of his hands, goes back and gets it. Over to Tomes on the left wing. Tomes cut off. He's got to turn around. He takes a desperation shot, but gets it to go. Sid Tomes, nice jumper, and gets it to go. It's back to an 11-point game, 69-58. 7:23 left to go in the game. Back and forth we go between these two teams. Quinn Taylor outside the three-point line gets a screen from Merrill, loses the handle. Quinn's able to recapture it. Merrill to Quinn. Quinn on the right elbow. Swings it cross court to Abel Porter. Porter back to Quinn Taylor, and he drops the jumper from about 10 feet out. 71-58. 13-point game for the Aggies. 6:53 and counting left to go in the game. Van Solen to Tomes. Tomes outside the three-point line. Works to the right side of the court, and then works back to the left. Tomes on the left wing. Drives on Bean. Works it over to Akaye. Akaye attacks, has the shot blocked. And Quinn Taylor pulls down the rebound. Over to Sam Merrill. Merrill crossing the timeline. Cross court to Abel Porter. Porter crossover to Miller. And the ball is, it's going to go off, out of bounds off of Utah State. Thought it bounced off an Air Force player, but it'll be another Utah State turnover on the pass deflected. And Utah State gives it back to Air Force. 13-point lead for the Aggies, 71-58, 6:25 left to go in the game. You're listening to Aggie Basketball on the Aggie Sports Network from Learfield. Sam Merrill's now at the 12 assist mark. That's the 10th most in a game in school history, and the most in a game since David Pack dished out 12 assists back in 2006. So got to go a long way back until somebody's had as good a night assisting as Sam Merrill has tonight. 71-58, 13-point game for Utah State. Aggies been outscored by Air Force 30-27. As Air Force already with more points in the second half they did in the first. But the Aggies have done a good job just running their stuff. Air Force just not good defensively, even when they're hitting everything. And Air Force is tonight. They're in the second half, shooting 52% from the field and 61% from three. But Utah State really hasn't allowed Air Force to cut into that lead too much. Here comes Air Force on the right wing. Lavelle Scotty back over to Walker. Walker trying to drive, gets up and under, puts the shot up, missed. Van Solen pulls down the rebound. And the foul on that rebound is going to go against Utah State. And that's Abel Porter who picks up the foul. Again, third team foul for the Aggies. 5 for Air Force. For Air Force, that's only their sixth offensive rebound. Aggies have pulled down 10 tonight. Still a 13-point game, 71-58. To reach the 6-minute mark here in the second half. Joyce takes a long three, missed. Miller pulls down the rebound. Three-point shot goes a little long, and here comes the Aggies. Sam Merrill near the midcourt stripe. Over to Abel Porter, who's been playing well tonight. Porter back to Merrill. Merrill on the left wing to Quinn Taylor. Give and go to Merrill, who lays it up and in with the right hand. Wide open layup for Sam Merrill. And Merrill on the night now has 16 points, 12 assists. Been stuck at 5 rebounds, though. Might be tough to get him that triple-double. Van Solen on the right wing to Joyce. Joyce tries to drive base, and they're going to get Merrill with the foul, cutting him off. 73-58, 15-point game, 5:28 left to go, second half action. Air Force will inbound. Joyce set to inbound, waiting for somebody to clear. Finally gets it up top to Morris. Morris to Walker. Walker to Van Solen on the right wing. Van Solen to Joyce. Joyce tries to drive into the lane. Shot with the right hand, up and good. Attacking Quinn Taylor and able to finish at the rim. 73-60, 13-point game, 5:08 and counting. Aggies taking a little air out of the clock here. To Taylor. Taylor to Abel Porter on the right wing to Sam Merrill. Merrill cut off, and now that foul's going to go against against Air Force, cutting off the drive of Merrill. That'll be foul number 6 on the Academy. Justin Bean checks out. Neemias Queta checks back in. Quinn Taylor set to inbound. Crowd giving Justin Bean a nice applause, deservedly so. Bean's played well tonight. Merrill to Queta on the left elbow. Over to Merrill. Merrill trying to drive, gets up and under, right-hand layup, up and in. Sam Merrill gets another 2. 18 on the night for Sam Merrill. It's about a point under his per-game average. Joyce hands over to Scotty. Scotty setting a screen, puts the three-point shot, missed, and Abel Porter pulls down the board. Nice rebound for Utah State, and the rebounds really adding up for the Aggies, out-rebounding Air Force 35-15. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Sam Merrill puts the ball on his hip as the Aggies going to hold things offensively. Waiting for a screen for Queta to come out. Work back to Taylor. Taylor over to Porter. Porter on the left wing, back to Merrill. Merrill pulls back, takes the 3. Too long, tipped around, controlled by Air Force and Morris. Over to A.J. Walker on the left wing. Walker to Lavelle Scotty. Scotty on the right elbow. Back to Morris. Morris trying to drive on Miller. Miller cuts him off. Nice defensive job. Lavelle Scotty with a long 3 from the right wing. Short. Fight for the rebound. Lavelle Scotty comes up with an offensive rebound. Tries to throw it off Abel Porter, but Porter reaches down and plucks it off before it goes out of bounds. Good job by Abel Porter. Sam Merrill with 3:29 left to go in the game. Aggies lead by 15, 75-60. Merrill with Chris Joyce trying to trip him up. Merrill steps back, waiting until about 10 seconds left on the shot clock to start the offense. Gets a screen from Queta. Merrill into the lane. Over to Abel Porter, and Porter travels with it. And for the Aggies, that'll be their 17th turnover of the game. They had 20 against Nevada, 17 tonight. Turnovers have been a huge issue for this team and continue to do so. 75-60, 3:11 left to go in the game. Aggies lead by 15, 3:11 away from picking up their 11th win of the season. You're listening to Aggie Basketball on the Aggie Sports Network from Learfield. Utah State leading Air Force 75-60 with 3:11 left to go here in the ball game. Let's take a look around the league, brought to you by Logan Eye Institute. Boise State right now leading San Diego State 27-15 midway through the first. Fresno taking it to Colorado State 27-12. That game in Fresno. Wyoming out to an early lead against UNLV 23-21, but the upset of the day, Nevada undefeated no more. And not only did they lose, they got worked by New Mexico. Final score 85-58. That's right, New Mexico. The pit was rocking tonight. And New Mexico, no look now, Lobos have jumped out to a 2-0 conference record. So Nevada suffers their first loss of the season, let alone in conference play. Van Solen pump fakes the 3, loses the handle. Abel Porter goes down and picks it up, slings it over to Brock Miller and over to Sam Merrill. Nice steal by the Aggies. Sam Merrill over to Abel Porter to Quinn Taylor. Taylor on the left wing to Queta. Back to Brock Miller outside the three-point line. Brock steps up, takes the shot. It's short, and here comes Air Force going the other way with Morris with the rebound. 2:40 left to go in the game. Aggies lead by 15, 75-60. A.J. Walker outside the three-point line to Scotty on the right elbow. Scotty back to Walker. Walker into the lane, tries to go up against Queta. Queta forces a bad shot and pulls down the rebound. Queta, I mean, that's probably not going to show up on a stat sheet anywhere, but there was no way he was going to get that shot up off of him. Bad shot. Queta just simply plucks it off the rim, and Utah State gets the ball back. 75-60. Aggies just slowing it down now. Sam Merrill on the right wing. Merrill to Queta. Queta just inside the three-point line to Porter. Porter for 3, short. Rebound pulled down by Van Solen of Air Force. Aggies have dried up a little bit here offensively, but at this point, they're milking clock, and that might be the most important thing. Van Solen takes a jumper from inside the three-point line, and it's for 2, and he gets it to go. Quick coach's timeout by Air Force. We'll take it as well. You're listening to Aggie Basketball, 75-62. Aggies lead by 13 on the Aggie Sports Network from Learfield. Hey, tax reform laws impact almost all tax returns each year. Obviously confusing. H&R Block has 60 years of experience More information is available at hnrblock.com. Aggies break the press, throwing the alley-oop to Ketta. Ketta's down low, throws down the dunk. Ketta couldn't quite finish at the rim, pulled down the pass, then came up and threw down the dunk. LaBelle Scotty, long three from the right wing, short, and Quinn Taylor pulls down the board. 77-62, 15-point lead for the Aggies. Ketta in double figures with 13. You have 4 Aggies right now in double figures. Merrill with 18, Taylor with 14, Miller with 15, and Ketta with 13. Abel Porter pounded the rock near the midcourt stripe, ready to get the offense started. Porter swings it cross court to Miller, long three, no good. Ketta's there for the rebound, and he's going to be tied up, and the ball will stay with Utah State on alternating possessions. 77-62, 15-point lead, and holy smokes, it's a massive line change for Air Force. They bring 5 players out onto the court, including number 2, Zach Cooper, and I believe, number 20 into the game, Isaac Monson, who's an Olympus High grad, has only played in 4 games this year, is yet to score, but the Utah native, the freshman, gets some playing time for the academy in his home state. 50 seconds left. Abel Porter, 19 seconds left on the shot clock. 77-62, 15-point game for the Aggies. Here comes the winning team, losing team chant. Porter down low to Taylor. Taylor has a good look with the left hand and gets it to go on the layup. 79-62, 17-point game. James Edwards on the right wing. Works it over to Zach Cooper. Cooper to Kinraid. Hands back over to number 35. Edwards takes a long shot, missed, and the Aggies will hold and will not get a shot off. 15 seconds left to go, and that brings us to the end of this one as Abel Porter crosses the midcourt stripe, and that brings us to the end of the Aggies' first home game in the Mountain West Conference and their first win in Mountain West Conference as Craig Smith notches his first Mountain West Conference win. We're at 0-0s, and the Aggies are victorious in Logan. 79-62, 17-point game for the Aggies as Utah State gets their 11th win of the season, improves to 11-4 overall and 1-0 in Mountain West Conference play. Sam Merrill, an impressive double-double, 18 points, 12 assists. It's Quinn Taylor with 16 and 6. Brock Miller with 15 points, 4 rebounds, as well as Neemias Queta with 13 points and 10 rebounds. He ends up with a double-double as well. Utah State, the impressive victory tonight. Final score, 79-62. And you heard it all right here on the Aggie Sports Network from Learfield. Coming up next, we'll kick off your post-game show. You'll hear from an Aggie player to be named here shortly, as well as Craig Smith. It's all straight ahead here on the Aggie Sports Network from Learfield.